you see the players of today's basketball with that mindset to achieve greatness?
It's hard to be hungry when you have. Simple as that. I mean, if you don't have, you are willing to do whatever you have. So my mental approach was go in, do my job, be the best basketball player I can be, and all the chips and everything outside of that, I had people that was handling that, you know. But basketball court, I'm handling it, right? And now it's like, it's a prerequisite. You know, everybody has to have a logo.
And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Michael Jordan just dropped a bombshell that shook the entire NBA world. He revealed a forgotten contract clause that would make every modern player lose their mind. The love of the game clause. When today's stars heard about it, they didn't just disagree, they laughed. They mocked it like it was some old school nonsense. But what Jordan valued most about basketball is exactly what this generation refuses to give: pure passion. This isn't just about different eras. It's two completely opposite mindsets colliding, and the numbers prove which one actually breeds greatness.
Your love of the game is still there. I can feel it from you, right? How did that love of the game fuel your career?
It was the basis of my career. My love of the game within my contract, which, you know, I'm pretty sure most contracts now, I'm actually positive now, don't have that clause within the contract where...
You had a clause in your contract.
Love of the game contract, right, that if I was driving with you down the street and I see a basketball game on the side of the road, I can go play in that basketball game. And if I get hurt, my contract is still guaranteed. I love the game so much that I would never let someone take the opportunity for me to play the game away from me.
It might not be in the team's best interest, in your best interest, to play all 82. Is that something you've thought about at all since you made the goal?
Man, that's a goal, but yeah, we'll see.
I'm available to go and be in the pro. If OBJ shows up, he might score 100.
In his sit-down with Mike Tirico, Jordan opened up about something unbelievable that barely anyone remembers because it straight up doesn't exist anymore: the love of the game clause. What it meant was wild. It allowed Jordan to play basketball anywhere, anytime, with anyone, even if it was just a random pickup game at a park. If he got hurt doing it, his contract was still fully guaranteed. Imagine that as a superstar saying, "I don't care about risk, I just want to hoop." That's how much he loved the game.
As opposed to now where you don't have it, players probably don't play. Now, they get individual attention with their trainer.
Sure.
You know, ready to go out and shoot 100 shots or 1,000 shots. I found it to my benefit was go play basketball, man. That's what you did. That's what you grew up doing.
Jordan told his team straight up that no one, not management, not ownership, not insurance suits, would ever stop him from playing basketball. That's loyalty to the game on another level. Meanwhile, teams today lock players down with insane insurance clauses, banning everything from pickup runs to motorcycles and even skiing. Players are treated like investments, like fragile assets that need to be bubble wrapped until game time. But Jordan, he lived for the grind. He wasn't waiting for tip-off. He was always ready, and he backed it up with action. In his rookie season, Jordan played all 82 games, not 75, not 70, every single one. And he did that not just once, but 9 times in his career. 9 full seasons without missing a single game. That's wild consistency.
We come to practice, he's on one leg. Like he was hurt the second year, he was on one leg the whole year and played 82 games. Wow. And so he practiced every day and he played every game on one leg. And so you're like, man, MJ, why don't you just sit out? How can I be the leader of the team and sit out and y'all going through all the credit? I gotta be there.
I twisted my ankle and I had a teammate, David Greenwood. He says, you know, you twist your ankle, young fella, come over and sit with me. You know, this is, you need to. I said, no, man, I'm trying to make a name for myself. There's no way I can sit. You know, I need to get out there and show what I'm capable of. I want to play. I want to win. I want to make an impact.
Compare that to today. LeBron James has played all 82 games once in 22 seasons. Kevin Durant, 3 times in 17 years. Steph Curry, never. These are supposed to be the guys chasing his legacy. It's not even close. Jordan's clause wasn't just about showing up for NBA games. It was about living basketball 24/7. He spent his summers playing in serious pickup runs, not stage workouts. Real games where pride, respect, and competition were on the line. That's how he sharpened his edge. He even talked about Larry Bird spending a whole summer developing his left hand, not with trainers feeding him passes, but by playing actual basketball games. That's where greatness was built.
Larry Bird took a whole summer to work on his left hand, right? He did it by playing basketball.
See, in those games, you're forced to think fast, react, and solve problems in real time. That's what separates true competitors from gym rats. Modern players, they spend summers doing controlled drills, rehearsed moves, and shooting sessions with no defense, no pressure, no stakes. Sure, it looks clean on Instagram, but it's not the same. Jordan knew the only real way to prepare for basketball was to play basketball. Not simulate it, not stage it. Love it. Every drive, every foul, every clutch moment counted. That's the difference between being great and being legendary. Then Jordan dropped a line that hit like a punch to the gut. It's hard to be hungry when you already have everything. And honestly, he's right. When you've got nothing, you'll fight for everything. You'll sacrifice, compete, grind, and claw your way up because you need it. But when you've already got the guaranteed millions, the signature deal, and the social media fame before you even prove yourself, that fire just fades away. The hunger that makes legends, it's gone.
Oh, it's May. My season's been over. I'm a third-year guy in the league. I call you. Michael, what do I do from now until the season starts to get better? What are the things you tell me that are important?
First of all, is your passion. You know, there's something about your passion or wanting to get better that drives that energy. I mean, when I say passion, that means if I have a love for ice cream, I mean, real deep love for ice cream. I'm gonna do everything I can to go find ice cream,
right,
or find that flavor of ice cream.
What flavor, by the way?
Butter pecan for me.
Okay, good.
Just so you know. But in terms of, you know, if basketball was that type of love for me, you know, I had to find a way to make sure I was the best basketball player I could be.
And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Jordan's whole mentality was simple but lethal. Do your job, be the best, and let everything else fall into place. He wasn't chasing endorsements or viral moments. He was chasing greatness. The business side, he had people for that. But the court, that was his kingdom. That's where he lived, breathed, and bled for the game. Everything else in the fame, the fortune, the brand came second, always.
You know why, right?
Well, I'm pretty sure I'm part of the reason why everybody tries to get a logo, but
brand, right?
A brand,
right? Brand Jordan.
But the thing is that brand established based on what I did on the basketball court. You know, I didn't put the brand before I put the work. Mm-hmm. You know, right. I put the work first, and then the brand evolved based on the work.
Right.
A lot of times it's different. You see it in every sport, not just basketball, football, baseball. Everybody's walking around with a logo and a hat, and I get it. But whatever I did here is never going to affect what I do on the basketball.
Now, it's flipped upside down. Players today want the brand first. The logo, the shoe line, the lifestyle, all before they've even earned a championship. Jordan called it out straight up when he said, everybody has to have a logo now. Everybody needs a brand. And yet he knows he started that wave. The Jordan brand changed everything. It showed players that basketball could be a gateway to something massive. But here's the catch. His brand was built on dominance. He didn't build the logo and hope people believed in it. He built the legacy first, and the logo followed. He won titles, crushed the league, became the undisputed best player on the planet. Then the brand took off. The work came first, the success came second, and then came the brand. That's the order of greatness. But today's players flipped the script. Now it's about merch drops, catchy slogans, and marketing campaigns before they've even figured out how to win a playoff series. It's like trying to sell the movie before you've written the script. Jordan's message couldn't be clearer. If you're focused on building a brand before you build your game, you're doing it all wrong. The brand should prove what you've already done on the court, not try to cover for what you haven't. Too many players today think if they market themselves right, the success will magically come. But that's not how greatness works. And social media, it's made it worse. Now players care more about likes than wins. They'll skip games to stay fresh, but never miss a brand event or a sponsored post. They're protecting their image more than their team's record. Jordan wasn't having that. He said if he played today, his game would speak for him. His performance would validate every business move, not the other way around. Basketball first, everything else comes after.
You know, there's no turn it on here, turn it off here. It's just 110% at all times.
And here's where it gets real. The numbers prove him right in a way that's embarrassing for the modern era. Jordan played all 82 games 9 times. But the wildest stat? At age 40, playing for the Wizards, he still played every single game and averaged 37 minutes a night. That's unreal. Now get this. If 40-year-old Jordan played those same minutes today, he'd lead the entire league. In the 2022 to 2023 season, not one single player averaged 37 minutes per game. So yeah, a 40-year-old legend was giving more effort and availability than the supposed superstars in their prime. That's the difference between being great and being built different. And he did all that without any of the modern luxuries. No private jets for every trip, no personal chefs, no recovery teams, no cryotherapy chambers, no hyperbaric oxygen tanks. Back then, teams were flying commercial, practices were brutal, and the game was rougher and more physical. But Jordan still showed up every night, ready to dominate, ready to compete, ready to win. That's real hunger, the kind you can't buy, fake, or post about. Now let's talk about what's happening today, because the difference is shocking. Back in the 1999 to 2000 season, 58 players played all 82 games. That's more than half the league just showing up and doing their jobs night in and night out. But fast forward to now, and it's a whole different story. From 2022 to 2025, every single year has set a new record low for the number of players who played a full season. It's not even close anymore. We went from dozens of guys battling through every game to barely a handful doing it now. And that's with better medical care, better recovery tools, and better everything. Yet somehow, players are playing less than ever. And it all comes down to one thing: load management. That's the monster that took over the league. It started small, just resting older players on back-to-backs, but it didn't stay small for long.
What do you think of when you hear the term load management thrown around?
It shouldn't be needed, first and foremost. You know, I never wanted to miss a game because it was an opportunity to prove. It was something that I felt like, you know, the fans are there to watch me play. I want to impress that guy.
Like you mentioned a little bit about today's game, because we had Club on here and he talked about load management. He said, I don't know what the hell that is. Where is it going? And that's number one. And number two, how do we get it back?
Even for me, I love the NBA game, but then I turn on to a game, right? And then the stars are not playing because of load management. It's hurting the game.
Between 2017 and 2022, the number of times star players sat out one game of a back-to-back nearly doubled, up 87%. Once a few big names started doing it, everyone else followed. Because if LeBron's resting to manage his body, why shouldn't the next guy? And if Kawhi can miss 20-plus games a year and no one bats an eye, why would anyone push through a sore ankle or a bruised knee anymore? But here's where the excuses fall apart, and they said it was science. They claimed rest prevented injuries, extended careers, and made players more efficient. Except the NBA did their own study, and guess what? The data didn't back it up. Joe Dumars, the league's executive vice president of basketball operations, said it straight up. There's no evidence that load management prevents injuries or fatigue. The only thing they found was that players are slightly less efficient on the second night of a back-to-back. That's it. Not injured, not hurt, just not quite as sharp. So what does that really mean? It means load management was never about health. It was about comfort. It was about saving energy, keeping players fresh for the playoffs, and avoiding the grind that defines real greatness. From a strategic standpoint, maybe it makes sense, but from a competitive one, it's weak. It's a choice, not a necessity. And Jordan, he would have never made that choice. To him, every single game was a chance to prove something. To the league, to the fans, to himself. He didn't care if it was a random Tuesday night against a bad team. He saw it as an opportunity. Jordan even said he never wanted to miss a game because he knew there were fans sitting up in the nosebleeds, working-class people who probably saved for weeks just to afford those tickets. He said those fans deserved to see the best. They didn't pay to watch stars sitting courtside in designer fits. They paid to see them play. And Jordan made sure to deliver that show every single night.
You know, the fans are there to watch me play. I want to impress that guy way up on top who probably worked his ass off to get a ticket or to get money to buy the ticket.
You really cared about the guy who sat in the top deck at the Palace in Auburn Hills to watch you when you came to Detroit?
Yeah, because I know he's probably yelling at me, and I want to shut him up. So if the guys are coming to watch me play, I don't want to miss that opportunity. Now, physically, if I can't do it, then I can't do it. But physically, if I can do it, and I just don't feel like doing it, that's a whole different lens.
Kobe didn't want to disappoint his fans, especially the ones in the 300 sections that saved up to watch him play. I remember asking him why he couldn't just sit a game out because he was hurting. He said, "What about the fans that saved up to watch me play just once?" He never forgot about his fans.
You play basketball 2.5 hours a day, 3 hours a day, right? That's your job. That's what you get paid to do as an NBA player. What are you doing the other 21 hours? I mean, to me, that's when you should be preparing for your next day of work.
Today's players, they don't seem to see it that way. They'll sit out national TV games, skip marquee matchups, and rest on the road while showing up for home games where their sponsors and family are watching. The fans, the ones who make this whole thing possible, have become an afterthought. The league noticed and tried to fix it in 2023 with the player participation policy. Basically a rule saying teams can't bench multiple stars in the same game, and that resting healthy players isn't allowed unless they're still visible to fans at the arena. Plus, players have to play at least 65 games to qualify for awards like MVP. It helped a little. In the first year, missed games by stars dropped around 15%. But then, progress stalled. Teams just got sneakier. Instead of listing rest, they started calling it minor injury or tightness to get around the rules. The culture didn't change, it just got better at hiding. And if you want a perfect snapshot of how wide the gap is between Jordan's era and now, look no further than Anthony Edwards. He's one of the brightest young stars in the league, athletic, confident, and loaded with talent. But even he needed a wake-up call from Jordan himself. As a high-level executive with the Minnesota Timberwolves, Jordan had to personally remind him what real commitment looks like. That tells you everything about where the mindset of the league is right now. The fire, the consistency, the obsession with showing up no matter what, it's fading fast. When Jordan heard that Anthony Edwards was struggling with double teams and didn't know how to handle them, his reaction said everything. Jordan didn't see double teams as a problem. He saw them as respect. He said straight up, getting double teamed means you're so dangerous that teams are scared of you. That's the highest compliment you can get in basketball. But the question is, what do you do about it? Jordan's advice was cold, simple, and brilliant. Move without the ball. Get to your spots before the defense has time to trap you. Find your scoring position early, act before they can react, and force them to chase you. That's real basketball IQ. That's fundamentals, something Jordan's generation mastered, but the sad truth, a lot of today's players haven't. And that's not a shot at Edwards. It's a shot at the system. Somewhere along the way, young players stopped learning the basics. They're too busy working on their brands, chasing followers, or perfecting fancy highlight moves for social media instead of learning how to win. The little things, footwork, spacing, timing, reading the defense, those championship-level details aren't being taught the same way anymore.
You know, and I had a conversation this summer with a high executive at Minnesota, and he was talking about Anthony Edwards.
Yep, Ant-Man.
I heard during the course of the year that, you know, they were double teaming me. You know, he didn't know how to deal with the double team. Well, that's the highest respect that you can ever get if a team feels like they got to double team you. Now, how do you figure out a way to break that double team? Move without the ball, move into the post, get in scoring position so that the double team, you can act before the double, all those simple things. So, yeah, those are the types of conversations I try to have when players seek that information.
Which brings us to the biggest question of all. What really matters more, greatness or longevity? Because today's stars are obsessed with the idea of playing 20-plus years. They talk about body management and career preservation like it's the ultimate goal.
To have a long career, that's the goal, to be in the league for 20 years. That's the goal.
Yeah, it's all about winning championships and winning.
But Jordan, he didn't care about that at all. He said it himself. If he burned out, he burned out. If giving 100% every night shortened his career, so be it. Because he wasn't chasing a long life in basketball, he was chasing excellence every single season. And look at the results. Jordan played 15 seasons total, but really only about 13 full years when you account for his retirements and that early foot injury. And in that stretch, he racked up 6 championships, 6 finals MVPs, 5 regular season MVPs, 10 scoring titles, and 9 all-defensive team selections. That's not just greatness, that's basketball perfection. Nobody has matched that level of dominance in such a short time. Now stack that up against LeBron James and Kevin Durant, 2 of the biggest names of the modern era. Between them, they've logged 39 total seasons, nearly 3 times Jordan's peak. And what do they have to show for it? 6 total championships, 5 regular season MVPs, 6 finals MVPs, 5 scoring titles, and 5 all-defensive selections combined. That's wild. Nearly 40 years of basketball between 2 all-time talents, and still less than what Jordan accomplished in about a decade. Twice the time, half the results. That's the price of choosing longevity over greatness. Jordan didn't care about being good for a long time. He cared about being great every single night. He wasn't pacing himself. He was pushing himself. That's what made him legendary. And everyone around him knew it. Former Bulls center Artis Gilmore once told a young Jordan that if he wanted to last in the league, he needed to stop diving for loose balls and conserve his body. Jordan looked him dead in the eye and said, "That's crazy. That's what basketball's all about." That one sentence sums him up perfectly. He wasn't thinking about year 15 or year 20. He was thinking about tonight's game, this season's title, and that next championship ring. That's how legends think. Larry Bird had the same mentality, giving everything he had every single night, diving on the floor, playing through pain, locking up on defense, and leaving nothing behind.
Artis Gilmore told me one time, he played for Chicago, he said, if you expect to play a long time in this league, you better quit mopping up the floor. And I thought, well, he's crazy, because that's what basketball is all about.
Bird takes it away from Wilkins, goes to the floor and gets it up ahead.
Yeah, I'm 10, 12 years in, I got 4 MVPs and 4 championships. Like, but do I still want to do this shit? You know what I'm saying?
You know how hard it is.
Some people say, I want to go play baseball.
Right?
Yeah. And then I want to come back. Or some people say, I'm going to go 22 straight.
Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.
Yeah, it shortened his career, but nobody questions his greatness or says he should have paced himself. His intensity made him immortal. And the same goes for Jordan. If he had played soft, if he'd rested more, if he'd tried to preserve himself, would we still call him the GOAT? Absolutely not. His legacy was built on sacrifice, on playing hurt, on emptying the tank, on chasing perfection every game. That's the part modern players just don't get. They think greatness can be achieved while coasting, while pacing themselves, while worrying more about longevity than domination. But greatness doesn't come from comfort. It comes from sacrifice, from putting your body, pride, and energy on the line night after night. Jordan understood it. Kobe lived it. And the legends who came before them built the game on that principle. But somewhere along the way, this new generation lost it. They want the glory without the grind, the legacy without the sacrifice. And that's exactly why no matter how long they play, they'll never touch Jordan's level. Because true greatness doesn't last forever. It burns bright, fast, and unforgettable. The NBA knows exactly what's up, and that's why they brought Michael Jordan back into the mix. Not as a player, but as a voice, as a living symbol of what real basketball culture used to be. After more than 20 years since retirement, the league is turning to him to help fix what's broken, the effort, the consistency, and the respect for the game that's been fading fast. Think about that. Jordan hasn't played meaningful basketball since 2003, and yet when the league needs someone to set things straight, they don't call LeBron, they don't call Durant, they call Jordan, the man who defined greatness and set a standard no one has matched since. His name still carries a weight that echoes across generations. When he speaks about competing every night, respecting the fans, and loving the game more than the money, it hits different because he lived that life. His message isn't theory, it's proven truth. His legacy doesn't need defending, it defends itself. Jordan doesn't jump online to argue with fans or start podcasts to explain his greatness. He lets the rings talk. 6 championships, 6 finals MVPs, a perfect finals record, 10 scoring titles, and 9 all-defensive team honors, and that's his argument. He doesn't need words. His results scream for him. That's what makes this debate so one-sided. Jordan doesn't need hype. He is the hype. When people talk about the greatest player ever, the conversation always starts with his name. Every new superstar is measured against him. Every championship run gets compared to his. Every clutch performance gets lined up with what he did first. No amount of longevity can erase that. Not from LeBron, not from KD, not from anyone. You can't rewrite dominance by simply lasting longer. You can't replace perfection with participation. Because in the end, people don't remember who played the longest. They remember who owned their era. They remember peaks, they remember fire, they remember dominance, and Jordan's peak, it wasn't just high, it was untouchable. Let's break it down. In roughly 13 full seasons, Jordan stacked up 6 championships, 6 finals MVPs, 5 league MVPs, 10 scoring titles, and 9 all-defensive selections. Meanwhile, 2 of the most celebrated longevity players, LeBron James and Kevin Durant, have played nearly 40 combined seasons and haven't matched that total together. That's not opinion, that's math. Jordan's approach of maximizing every single season instead of stretching it thin over 2 decades worked. He proved that quality beats quantity, intensity beats longevity, and greatness beats just hanging around. So where does that leave us now? Is Jordan right that today's players are too soft, too brand focused, too comfortable to chase real greatness? Or are today's stars right that being smart with your body, pacing yourself, and extending your career is the evolution of the game? Honestly, both sides have valid points. Science and medicine have evolved. We know more about rest, recovery, and injury prevention than ever before. Playing smarter can help you last longer. But here's the truth Jordan would never ignore. Longevity doesn't equal legacy. Because if you're playing 22 seasons but sitting out 15 games every year, are you really chasing greatness or are you just collecting checks? That's the uncomfortable question nobody wants to answer, because Jordan didn't just play basketball, he lived it. Every minute, every game, every season mattered. He wasn't trying to stretch his career, he was trying to own it. And maybe that's what the league is hoping he can bring back. That raw fire, that obsession with competition, that fearless approach that says, if I can walk, I can play. The league's calling Jordan back because somewhere along the way, the hunger faded. The focus shifted from playing to preserving, from competing to marketing. And deep down, everyone knows that's not what made basketball special. What made it great was that every night, someone like Jordan showed up ready to dominate. That's what fans paid to see. That's the energy the game's been missing. So maybe the question isn't who's right. Maybe it's who's real. Because Jordan's legacy proves one thing that no era, no stats, and no science can argue. Greatness can't be managed. It has to be earned. Michael Jordan would rather burn out than fade away. He'd rather give everything he had for 13 unforgettable years and go down as the greatest ever than coast for 20 seasons just to be remembered as really good for a really long time. That's the difference between chasing greatness and settling for comfort. When you look at the legacies, when you see whose name always comes up first in every GOAT debate, when you realize that a man who's been retired for over 2 decades still has more influence than today's active superstars, you've got to admit it, Jordan's way worked. It was the sacrifice, the intensity, and the pure love of the game that made him untouchable. Not brand deals, not social media, not sitting out back-to-backs. It was about showing up every night, ready to dominate, ready to remind the world who the best really was. Jordan didn't need 20 years to prove his point. He just needed moments. One game, one shot, one season at a time, he built a legacy that no one has come close to matching. And he did it for 13 straight years of absolute domination. 6 championships, a perfect finals record, 10 scoring titles, 9 all-defensive teams, 5 MVPs. Every stat, every memory, every piece of his story screams excellence. And that's why Even after all this time, when people think of basketball greatness, they don't think about who lasted the longest. They think about who burned the brightest. And that answer hasn't changed in over 20 years. It's still Michael Jordan, the man who set the bar so high that even legends are still chasing his shadow. Because greatness isn't about staying in the league forever. It's about owning it while you're there. It's about giving every ounce of yourself until there's nothing left to prove. Jordan didn't chase longevity. He chased immortality, and he found it through effort, fire, and pure obsession with winning. That's why when people talk about basketball, his name still leads the conversation, and probably always will. So what do you think? Should players today sacrifice everything like Jordan did and go all in for greatness? Or is the modern approach, load management, resting, and longevity, actually smarter? Drop your answer in the comments below. And if you believe today's NBA has lost that killer mentality, smash that like button, hit subscribe, share this video with a real hoop fan, and keep the conversation going. Because we're just getting started, and trust me, the truth about basketball's biggest stars is far from over. See you on the next one.
But do you think that's harder now for guys? There's social media and all this stuff. So they got to cut through the clutter here a bit, right?
Yeah, that's true. I like to think that if I was playing today, I like to think that no matter what, my game is going to validate whatever I try to participate in away from the game. It's really tough for the kids today, and most of them do a great job of navigating what you're talking about. That's, as long as you understand that this is always going to be what you're remembered for. Basketball and your love for basketball should always be pure. We would play this game, I've always said this, we would play this game for free. We did. And now we just so happen to get paid for it. Generationally, I like to think that most of the time that people will remember Michael Jordan based on what he did on the basketball court and not always the commercials that he did.